We have some breaking news to get to. The legendary singer Ozzy Osbourne has died. That is according to our partners at the BBC.
In the last weeks of his life, Ozzy Osbourne made a shocking confession, one that no one saw coming. Hidden behind the wild image, the scandals, and the heavy metal legend was a man quietly preparing to say goodbye. With his health fading fast, Ozzy wrote a private letter to Sharon. The details of his final handwritten lines were devastating. It was honest, yet broken, and it became his last true message to the woman who stood by him. What did Ozzy say when he knew the end was near? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. Ozzy Osbourne's heartbreaking final letter to Sharon. One of the starters of heavy metal music, Ozzy Osbourne, also known to a lot of people as the Prince of Darkness, died on July 22, 2025 at the age of 76. His death brought the end of a good and loved journey that played a part not just his own life, but the rock music industry as a whole. The loss of a man who gave fans years of good songs, great shows, and real feelings was felt by fans all over the world. However, Ozzy wasn't thinking about fame or music praises in his last days. He was interested in something far more deep, a last wish that would seal the circle of his story. Ozzy had been living with Parkinson's disease for many years. Though he kept the illness private for a long time, he went public about it in 2020. Over time, the condition made it harder for him to move, especially affecting his legs. Yet those closest to him said his mind stayed sharp. He still joked, still told stories, and still spoke with the same fire that had lit up stages all over the world. His body was weaker, but his spirit stayed strong. In the last few weeks of his life, those around him noticed a change. He became more quiet and thoughtful, often talking to his wife Sharon about his past, his time with Black Sabbath, his solo success, and his years as a father and husband. Sharon Osbourne had been by Ozzy's side for more than 40 years. She wasn't just his wife, she was also his manager, his friend, and the one person who always made sure he stayed on track, even during the worst times. Through harmful substance problems, wild years, and health struggles, Sharon stood with him. Their love, often shown to the world on their reality show, The Osbournes, became just as famous as his music. Fans who didn't know his songs still knew his name because of the way he made people laugh, cry, and connect through the show. And behind the cameras, Sharon worked hard to support him, both in business and in life. As Ozzy's health got worse, Sharon took on more of the burden. She was the one who saw that their days of touring and performing were ending. She knew their life was changing forever. In one of her last interviews before he died, she said, "We just want to live our life and not have to follow an itinerary anymore." Looking back, those words now sound like she already knew what was coming. In those final weeks, Ozzy spent most of his time with family. His children, including Kelly, Jack, Amy, Jessica, and Louis, visited him often. They kept things private, staying out of the spotlight, and focused on giving Ozzy peace and comfort. While the outside world saw a man who looked tired and sick, behind closed doors, there was quiet planning happening. Sharon hinted that Ozzy had asked her to do something very special for him. She didn't share details at the time, but her face and her tone made it clear this wasn't just a simple favor. It was something that meant everything to him. After decades of singing, touring, and making history, Ozzy was thinking about how to say goodbye in his own way. His life had been loud, wild, and full of energy. He didn't want to be remembered as just a sick man in a wheelchair. He wanted to be seen one last time as who he truly was, the Prince of Darkness, the legend who had changed music forever. Sharon kept her promise. On July 5, 2025, Ozzy took the stage in Birmingham, his hometown, for one final performance. The event, called Back to the Beginning, was held at Villa Park and brought together his original Black Sabbath bandmates Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. Other bands like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Anthrax joined in to celebrate his life and music. Ozzy, seated on a black throne, opened the show with Mama, I'm Coming Home, and followed it with Crazy Train and other classic songs. The crowd of 40,000 roared with love and emotion. Fireworks filled the sky as Ozzy took his final bow just 17 days before he passed away. That was his final wish, to return home, sing one last time, and leave this world doing what he loved most. How did Sharon and the family cope after fulfilling Ozzy's final wish? And what did she reveal in the days that followed his passing? Let's learn more. Sharon Osbourne's tribute to rock legend Ozzy Osbourne. Sharon Osbourne has finally spoken out after the death of her husband, rock star Ozzy Osbourne. In a sad message posted on Instagram, she confirmed that Ozzy passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by his loved ones. Ozzy wasn't just my husband, she wrote. He was my best friend, my soulmate, my partner in both chaos and calm. Sharon, who is 72, added that she is just trying to get through each hour as she deals with the loss. The Osbourne family released a joint statement the same evening, saying, "It is with more sadness than words can say that we have to share the news that our beloved Ozzy has passed away. He was with his family and surrounded by love. We kindly ask for privacy during this time." The message was signed by Sharon and their children. In a special interview on Thursday, Sharon opened up more about Ozzy's final moments. She said that his last hours were calm, with soft music playing in the background. "We had Beatles music playing quietly. He always loved them," she said. "And he just slipped away, surrounded by love." She also shared that all of their children were there with him. Ozzy Osbourne became famous in the 1970s as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, a band known for starting the heavy metal genre. Later, he began a solo career that made him even more popular. Fans around the world came to know him as the Prince of Darkness, but his family saw a much different side of him. "Yes, he was a powerful figure on stage," Sharon said. "But at home, he was soft-hearted. He loved his kids so much. He would cry while watching movies. He had a sharp, funny sense of humor. I want people to remember the joy and light he gave. Ozzy deserves to be honored with music, with fire, and with truth," she explained. "But right now, we just need time as a family." Since the news of his death was made public, fans and musicians from all over the world have shared messages of love and sorrow. Social media is filled with people remembering his music, his bold style, and the way he changed rock and roll forever. Ozzy is survived by his wife, Sharon, and their 4 children. While the world remembers him as a rock legend, his family will remember him as a loving husband, a proud father, and a man who brought warmth and laughter into their lives every day. Ozzy's passing wasn't the only hardship. Sharon has faced her own lifetime of pain and struggles. What has she endured behind the scenes? Stay tuned for more. Sharon Osbourne's life of struggles. Sharon, who was married to Ozzy for 43 years, has lived a life full of both love and heartbreak. But behind the cameras and bright lights, her story has many dark and difficult moments. Sharon's troubles began when she was just a little girl. On an episode of The Talk, she told a shocking story from her childhood. She remembered how her father, Don Arden, once left her and her brother, David, alone in a dark forest. She was only 5 years old at the time, and her brother was just 7. Their father left them there because they were being noisy during a car ride. They didn't know how long they were alone before he finally came back to get them. But that wasn't the only painful memory from her childhood. On the Osbournes podcast, Sharon shared more about the maltreatment she faced. She said her father had once thrown her down the stairs and hit her in the head. In her 2005 book, Sharon Osbourne Extreme, she also wrote that her father tried to ruin her relationship with Ozzy by spreading hurtful lies. Her relationship with her mother, Hope Shaw, was also very cold. In an old interview with OK magazine, Sharon said she didn't like her mother at all. She explained that even though there might have been some kind of love deep down, there was no warmth, no closeness, and no friendship between them. In 2006, Sharon told The Guardian that when she heard her mother had died, her only reaction was, "Oh, what a shame." Sharon also faced hard times in her marriage to Ozzy. Their love was strong, but it was tested by many problems. On Access TV, Sharon spoke about how Ozzy's harmful substance and alcohol use made things very hard. She remembered that after their daughter Kelly was born in 1984, Ozzy went to rehab, but within hours of coming home, he started drinking again. These ups and downs happened many times over the years. During one of their family vacations, Sharon found out that Ozzy had brought substance along. She was so upset that she played a prank on him by going to the bathroom in his bag of marijuana. Looking back, she shared the story on their podcast, saying it was one of the ways she tried to deal with her anger and frustration. But it wasn't all bad. Ozzy and Sharon also stood by each other during the worst times. In 2002, Sharon found out she had colon cancer. She had gone in for a regular checkup due to anemia, but doctors discovered the cancer had spread to her lymph nodes. She had to go through surgery and chemotherapy. Sharon told Coping magazine that the news hit her hard. She had not prepared for such serious treatment and was afraid of what lay ahead. Ozzy didn't take the news well either. In a 2012 interview with The Standard, he said he completely broke down when he heard Sharon had cancer. He had to be sedated because he was so scared of losing her. "This is the love of my life," he said, "and the thought that I could lose her was more than I could bear." Later, Sharon learned she also had the breast cancer gene. To stay healthy, she chose to have a double mastectomy. She told Hello magazine in 2012 that this experience changed how she looked at life. She felt that it made her stronger and gave her a new way of seeing things. Over the years, Sharon has also been very honest about her plastic surgeries. In 2022, she told the Sunday Times that one of her facelifts lasted almost 6 hours and left her looking so bad that even Ozzy offered to pay to fix it. She joked that she looked like Quasimodo, with her face uneven and her eyes out of place. Though she once said she'd never get surgery again, she later admitted that kind words from others about her looks made her want more work done. But deep down, Sharon knew that no surgery could truly make her feel better about herself. In 2024, she appeared on the Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast and spoke about using Ozempic to lose weight. She said the substance worked, but she lost more weight than she expected and had trouble gaining it back afterward. Despite everything they faced, health issues, public drama, and personal pain, Sharon and Ozzy stayed together until his final day. Though the road has been long and painful, Sharon continues to show strength through every chapter of her life. Not all wounds were visible to the public. How did Sharon handle the quiet heartbreak that came from Ozzy's deepest betrayal? Let's find out. Sharon Osbourne's struggles with Ozzy's infidelity. Few people truly comprehend the depth of what she endured behind closed doors, despite the fact that many know her as the resilient woman who stood by rock icon Ozzy Osbourne. In addition to being based on love and music, her marriage to Ozzy was characterized by years of heartbreak, betrayal, and emotional wounds that persist to this day. Ozzy's adultery was among the most agonizing aspects of their marriage. Sharon has been open about the fact that Ozzy had cheated on her multiple times over the years. In a very emotional moment, she admitted that the betrayal hurt deeply. She said it made her feel lost and worthless at times. The scars from those times didn't simply go away. Even though she remained with him, she repeatedly had to fight to regain trust. Even though it weakened her every time, she made the decision to support him, particularly for the benefit of their family. But Sharon's suffering wasn't limited to infidelity. She also suffered several heartbreaking miscarriages. These losses broke her in ways that words cannot fully explain. In interviews, she shared that losing a child during pregnancy was one of the most difficult experiences of her life. Every time, the painful feelings left a heavy mark on her heart. She always felt sad, lonely, and somehow helpless. This is a feeling that only a mother could understand. These heartbreaks added to the weight she was already carrying. Their home life was far from peaceful. Sharon has spoken openly about the fighting episodes in their marriage. In one shocking situation, Ozzy was arrested after trying to choke Sharon during a fight. Sharon later said that she thought she was going to die that night. It was a turning point. Ozzy was charged, but Sharon didn't leave him. She said she saw that he was not well and believed he needed help, not punishment. That decision was not easy, and it showed just how complicated their love truly was. In another incident, Sharon once threw a full dinner plate at Ozzy, cracking his head open. Sharon also agreed that she too had times when she lost it. Their relationship was filled with a lot of highs and lows. It wasn't just about shouting alone, it was real violence, a trust that is broken, and total damage. But somehow, they always found a way back to each other. Sharon has said that their love was not smooth, but it was real. It was never perfect, but it was powerful. Even after all of this, Sharon continued to fight for their marriage. She believed in Ozzy, even when he didn't believe in himself. She stood by him through addiction, public scandals, and deep personal struggles. Her loyalty wasn't just about being a wife, it was about being a survivor. Sharon said she often felt like she was holding the whole family together with her bare hands. Despite everything, Sharon said there was always love. Through the cheating, the loss, the violence, and the public chaos, there was still a strong bond between them. She didn't hide from the truth. She accepted their mistakes and their pain. But she also agreed to the love they had, even when it was hard to see. Sharon's story is one of power, pain, and hope. Her life with Ozzy wasn't a sweet story, but it was raw. And it was filled with times that tried her in every way. But through it all, she never stopped fighting. Not just for their marriage, but for herself. After all the pain Sharon had already faced in their marriage, what happened when one of Ozzy's most heartbreaking secrets finally came to light? Let's delve deeper. A secret love and a public fallout. Ozzy's affair with Michelle Pugh. Ozzy Osbourne had been in a secret relationship for 4 years with Michelle Pugh, who was working as his hairdresser at the time. This affair led to a short breakup between Ozzy and his wife Sharon in 2016. Although they got back together later that year, Ozzy had told Good Morning America that he and Sharon were back on track and that they had just hit a bump in the road. But when Michelle spoke out a month later, her story made it clear that the situation had been far more serious than Ozzy had let on. Michelle shared her side of things with People magazine in August 2016. She said Ozzy had given her a kind of love that she had never felt before. "He made me feel like I was the most beautiful woman in the world," she said. "I felt loved, cherished, and special." Michelle also said Ozzy wasn't happy in his marriage to Sharon. She believed he had shown her love openly, with care and emotion. She said, "What we had was real. It was something rare and hard to explain, but it was there, and he knew it too." She also admitted that she was no longer in contact with him. That distance was painful for her every day. "Sometimes I dream about him, and when I wake up, there's this short moment where I feel peaceful," she explained. "But then I remember he's gone, and that peace fades fast. It's awful." Michelle had loved Ozzy deeply, and the way she talked about him showed how strong their bond had been, even if it didn't last. She was very hurt, not just over losing him, but also over the way things ended between them. Ozzy's team responded with a statement that challenged her view of their relationship. His spokesperson told people that Ozzy was sorry if Michelle thought their time together meant more than it really did. He regrets if Ms. Pugh misunderstood the meaning of their relationship, the statement said. He also wants to apologize to the other women he had sexual relationships with. After the affair with Ms. Pugh came to light, Ozzy began serious therapy to work on himself. Now that Ozzy has passed away, the details of his personal life have become part of the story people remember about him. His affair with Michelle Pugh may have caused pain and trouble during his lifetime, but it also revealed a more human side to the rock legend. Behind the fame and loud music, there were real emotions, regrets, and struggles. Michelle's words gave the world a little peek into the private world Ozzy tried to keep a secret. A world filled with love, mixed feelings, and loss. How did Ozzy's choices and shocking actions make headlines? And what did they show about the man behind the music? Let's take a closer look. A life of chaos, controversy, and shocking moments. Ozzy Osbourne was no stranger to trouble during his lifetime. When he was a teenager, he was caught trying to take a television and tried to get away by climbing over a wall with it. He was arrested and spent 6 weeks in a British jail. Just 3 years later, the band Black Sabbath was formed. But things didn't stay smooth for long. Because Ozzy used substance and drank a lot, the band eventually let him go. Even though they had split, they ended up getting back together several times over the years, starting in 1997. Before Ozzy dropped his first solo album, Blizzard of Oz, his wife Sharon, who also helped manage his career, gave him an idea to get people's attention. She told him to bring 3 doves in his pocket to a meeting with the big bosses at CBS Columbia, the company that was going to help sell his album. Ozzy, feeling nervous, drank a large amount of whiskey before walking into the meeting. While he was there, he let 2 of the birds fly out. But he shocked everyone when he bit the head off the 3rd dove. The people in the room were so disgusted, some of them actually threw up. According to the 2013 book, Sharon Osbourne, Unauthorized, Uncensored, Understood, Ozzy and Sharon were quickly kicked out of the building and told never to come back again. But that wasn't the last time Ozzy caused a public stir. One time in San Antonio, Texas, he urinated on the Alamo Cenotaph, a large 60-foot monument honoring those who died at the Battle of the Alamo. The police arrested him, and the city banned him for 10 years. Ozzy did later say sorry to the mayor. When he passed away, the official Instagram account for the Alamo even said something kind about him, calling him humble and saying that he had eventually found a way to make peace with the past. People were so upset about some of Ozzy's wild acts that it made national headlines. There were angry letters sent to local newspapers, especially after reports came out saying he had bitten the head off a dead bat at a concert in Iowa, which was true. Others claimed he had cut a live sheep's head in half during a show, though that was not true. These stories got so much attention that an arena committee in Brown County, Wisconsin, decided to cancel one of Ozzy's upcoming concerts. However, because there was already a signed agreement, the committee changed its mind a week later. Even so, Ozzy didn't end up performing that show due to a sudden chest pain. Another time, Ozzy was arrested on Beale Street in Memphis for being extremely drunk in public. The police described him as staggering drunk in their report. Although the charges were later dropped, a mugshot from that night, where he wore a St. Louis Blues hockey shirt, became one of the most famous photos of him. One of the biggest legal problems Ozzy faced happened after a teenager ended his own life, and the boy's family blamed one of Ozzy's songs. But Ozzy explained that the song was really about how his friend, Bon Scott, from the band AC/DC, had died from drinking too much. The lawsuit also falsely claimed that there were secret words hidden in the music. In the end, the court threw out the case. Even after staying out of major legal trouble for years, Ozzy still faced one more lawsuit before his death. A photographer named Neil Lazauer sued him for posting pictures of himself online without permission. The pictures had been taken by the photographer, and he claimed that Ozzy didn't have the right to share them on social media. Despite all of these moments, both good and bad, Ozzy Osbourne remained one of the most unforgettable figures in the world of music. He pushed the limits, stirred controversy, and lived his life in the spotlight, sometimes for his talent, and other times for the chaos that seemed to follow him wherever he went. After all the wild moments, scandals, and redemption arcs, how did the world finally say goodbye to Ozzy Osbourne? Let's find out. A legend remembered. The world mourns Ozzy Osbourne. The world is still mourning the loss of Ozzy Osbourne. Known for his unforgettable voice, bold personality, and massive influence on music, Ozzy left a lasting impression that goes far beyond his years in the spotlight. As fans around the globe remember him, both public and private events are being planned to honor his life and legacy. His presence may be gone, but the mark he made on the world remains strong. A large public memorial is being organized in Birmingham, England, where Ozzy was born. This event is expected to be a huge celebration of his life and career. It won't be a typical memorial service. Instead, it's being shaped as a powerful tribute, full of music and memories, attended by fans, celebrities, and fellow musicians who were inspired by Ozzy's work. The Osbourne family has said they want the public to be a part of remembering him in a big, meaningful way. Some of the performers are said to be artists who looked up to Ozzy or worked with him directly. One of those artists is British singer Youngblood, who had developed a close relationship with Ozzy in recent years. At what would become Ozzy's final live appearance on July 5, 2025, Youngblood performed a moving version of the song Changes, a song that deeply touched the Osbourne family. After Ozzy's death, Youngblood shared a heartfelt message online, saying Ozzy had been a hero to him and someone he had looked up to his entire life. He described Ozzy as kind, honest, brave, and full of humor. Though the exact date of the public tribute hasn't been announced yet, it's expected to take place soon. People from all over the world are expected to attend, and local landmarks in Birmingham have already become memorial spots. Places like the Black Sabbath Bridge and the Ozzy the Bull statue have been filled with flowers, candles, handwritten notes, and photos left by sad fans. These places have become quiet, with scenes where people can gather, share stories, and think about what Ozzy truly meant to them. While the public get ready to say goodbye together, the Osbourne family is also getting ready for a private funeral. This small gathering will include close family members and friends. It is meant to be a more quiet and personal time to think about the man they knew and loved. Those close to the family say that the service will still include lots of music, especially songs by the Beatles, which were some of Ozzy's favorites. The funeral is expected to reflect both his soft, loving side and the rock and roll spirit that made him famous. The Osbournes have asked for privacy as they work through their loss. Sharon, along with their children, are taking time to grieve away from the public eye. Although many fans would like more details, the family is keeping things private for now and focusing on healing. Even in death, Ozzy's legacy continues to grow. Tributes from celebrities, fans, and musicians have poured in from every corner of the world. His cultural influence also stretched into television and everyday life. Fans will always share stories of how Ozzy's music helped them through hard times, made them feel strong, or just brought joy. As the world thinks about Ozzy's life, one thing is clear: his songs are not going anywhere. The man may be gone, but he will always be in our hearts. What do you think about the last wish of Ozzy Osbourne? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.